Okay, we're now ready to look at our final smoothing technique. This is referred to as the three-parameter smoothing technique because it includes the level of the data, the trend in the data, and seasonality in the data. And as I had mentioned to you before, these techniques all have one simple name that everybody agrees upon. Of course, the answer is no, that's not true. This is oftentimes called Winters or Holt-Winters or three-parameter smoothing. If you will remember now, as we finally look, single exponential smoothing was for what we call no trend and no seasonality level in the data. All right. We then had Holt's linear method and Holt's additive or Holt's multiplicative, essentially dealing with a trend. All right, dealing with a trend. Notice this is a linear trend. Notice this is an exponential trend. Okay, so Holt's two-parameter, one for the level and one for the trend that's either linear or one for the trend that's either non-linear. Now we're ready to look at three-parameter, level, seasonality, and trend. This again, Holt-Winters or three-parameter smoothing. So we adjust for both trend and seasonality. It's a little more complicated than what we were looking at before. Again, it involves three smoothing parameters. Okay, one for the level, one for the trend, and then one for seasonality. And remember, seasonality can be additive or multiplicative, and the trend can be additive or multiplicative. So now let's simply look at the calculations. I know this seems a bit complicated to you. All right, so notice again from our simple trend calculations, this is how we, with double smoothing, we have the level and now we have the trend. So notice again what we're doing here is adding in a seasonal component. So when we forecast forward, we have a trend component, we have a seasonal component, and then we have our original level component. So that's how the three parameter smoothing model works. Now, for our purposes, when we look at how are we going to do this, then single exponential smoothing can be done in Excel. But once we move to double or three parameter or Holt-Winters, it can't be done in Excel. It has to be done in Minitab. And we'll practice that in class. But just to show you what we will do in terms of now doing three parameter exponential smoothing, we will simply click time series, statistics. Under statistics, you will see Holt-Winters. Click there. It will then open up a menu. It will allow you then to determine what the seasonality is. So seasonality, remember, is going to be, for us primarily, monthly or quarterly. It's then going to allow you to decide whether the seasonality is additive and the trend is additive, or whether seasonality and trend are multiplicative. Okay, and then it's going to give you some choices of clicking the smoothing values. Okay, we're going to have to practice that in class. With double smoothing, or accounting for just the level and the trend, there was, again, we would click time series stat. Okay, and under stat, we would see double smoothing. And then we would have an option to click optimize the smoothing values, this value here, okay? Optimize the smoothing values. There is no such routine in Holt-Winters in Minitab, and so I will show you how we will proceed with selecting the optimal smoothing values in triple or Holt-Winters, or as it's shown here, Winters exponential smoothing. So that's basically completes again our introduction to the different smoothing techniques and to decomposition. All that remains for us to do now, since you know the basics of them and you've read your book, all that remains for us to do now is to get some practice in class doing these techniques.